I am going to turn this car into one of these things. Now it's time to flip it, clean it up, and flip it. This car turns on so nicely. So there's somewhat of a lot of history with this car. I've had it since about 2013, so probably about 8 years. I actually got it because my previous car completely just drove into the driveway and it stopped working. Like that was it. Didn't turn on, nothing. Now, I bought this car for $1,800. And there's only an issue with the transmission, which was getting into first gear. I decided to take it because it was $1,800, and we were able to fix the transmission for $200, and that was it. Working fine, working great. Eventually, I was working at one place, and I was using this car, the time shelf bus, and it just sits there in my garage, untouched. Finally, I actually started working from home, and this car just continues to sit there for about a year, 2 years almost. I was going to move to a different location, and I had my cousin that works at a mechanic shop pick it up, and they take it over to the mechanic shop. They replaced the timing belt and all of that. We replaced the timing belt for $200. So far I've already spent $400. I put in $2,200, but that's pretty much wear and tear. You're gonna need to do that on old cars, right? Then it just sits there. A year goes by and I don't pick it up because it just so happened to be when COVID started. So there's no need for the car. I work from home, and it just kind of sat there. Eventually, I'm like, something. I need to do something. I need to figure out what to do, or do something to generate some money and maybe possibly get a better car. Well, I decided to. I was watching Undercover Billionaire, and he buys one car, and then with that one car he turns it into two, and then with those two he gets enough cash to start a business. Well, I decided to do it the other way around. I decided to get a car. I already have a car. I was already going to purchase a car and see if I could flip it into something bigger. I remembered, well, my wife told me, like, hey, you have this car, why don't you just start with this car? So here I am. I went to go pick it up, pretty far away, mind you, to the mechanic shop. It had been sitting there for an entire year. I had to drag it out of there, and now it sits in my place. I've already had to switch the battery, so that was $50. I've had to replace the fuel pump, that was $25. And my mistake, I was switching out the coolant, which the coolant and all that cost me about $30. I was starting to switch it all out, and I accidentally busted a seal on the coolant reservoir. And what sucks is that they don't just sell the seal. I had to buy the entire kit. That's costing me $72, which I'm waiting for right now. I put it up for sale, and now I have a bunch of people asking me about it, but I just received notice that it's going to take 2 weeks for me to get the seal. All in all, bought the car for $1,800, spent $400 from the time I was using it for the transmission and for the timing belt. It was $50 for the battery, $25 for the fuel pump, and now $72 for the coolant reservoir kit, and $30 for all the necessities like, oil and getting it cleaned up. So I'm gonna see how much I can sell it for. I was asking $2,000. A lot of people are like ready to buy it. Apparently this car is getting back into being something that people want. I'm gonna up the price and see how it goes from there. Even if I take a loss, like I said, I've had it for 8 years, and I mean, I used it for I didn't use it for the whole 8 years, but I did use it for a good 5 years. So we're gonna see how much I get for it, and then try to flip it and try to get either, you know, maybe a Harley motorcycle, Tesla, or a Porsche. I've always wanted a Porsche. I've always liked them. I'm gonna see if I can flip this car into something a lot better. Alright, we got this little part in, all that, so let's install it. And give it a good vacuuming. Alright, make it look pretty. Alright, so car is sold. Now, I was asking $4,000 at the end, but I was able to sell it for $35,000, so that is still well above what I paid for this car. Just gonna go take it to get the front tire, you know, filled up, because I don't want this guy to come back for any reason. I think the fact that they don't make this car anymore, and the fact that it's manual transmission, was a very, very easy sell. However, I need to start looking for another car that, you know, $3,500 or less, that I can at least flip it and try to get a little more, even if it's $500, $1,000, just enough so I can start scaling my way up. So that's going to be a fun little project, to find another car to sell. I honestly think it's going to be the hardest part. Just trying to find a car that I can increase its value by small little modifications, small little things that won't break the bank, and at least, at the very, very least, try to get 500 more, maybe even 1,000. 1,000 would be great. So that's the next project. Once I pick up this car, I'm going to take the $3,500 and try to buy another car. Try to get something, a good value on a car. This car has 127,000 miles on it, so it's going to be kind of tricky finding something with less miles. This is a 1996, and it only has that many miles, so that's pretty awesome. But like I said, that's going to be the bulk of the work. Alright, here we are in the shop. The cool part about this is that there's a bunch of little shops that will do tire work for very, very cheap. You can even buy tires for at least $25 a piece. But we don't need that. We just need them to fill it up with air, but the little nozzle, I don't know what it's called, is broken. So let's get this taken care of quick like and in a hurry. So that didn't take long. Alright, we got some air on the tires. It's $2. Apparently he was able to do it without any problem. I was having such a hard time at the gas station, but whatever. Got air on the tires. Let's go. Gonna see how it drives now that it has air in the tires, because it was giving me a small little issue with the driving. Tire would shake because there was no air in it. Now we got air. Now it's hot. I don't have AC in this thing. The cool thing about this car, besides them not making it anymore, I mean, I absolutely love it. I would totally keep it, but it's not the goal that we have here. Is the fact that it has no, look at this, has no AC or radio or anything, and people don't care. Like, it's such an awesome little car, and people just don't care. Like, they'll take it as is. I'm telling you, I absolutely love this car, and I would not be selling it, but
far we can go by just having, a small little car. Because, I mean, you can do that even if anybody can save up to $2,000, buy themselves a car, and then just trade up. Like, a lot of people, yeah, it's so much better. A lot of people will go buy a car, brand new car, have, $500 payments, $300 payments, or whatever a month for the next 5 years, and the car just depreciates. When you can just save up $2,000, $3,000 even, and get a car, and just slowly trade your way up, and eventually have a car that you like, a nice car for very, very cheap price, especially if you're trading up. Alright, let's go back home. For a little V6, this little thing has a nice little power to it. Took longer than I expected. I wanted a little joyride before I let this car go. Because, like I said, I do really, really like this car. Always wanted a Corvette too, so might as well. Yeah, it's freaking awesome. Guy's only gonna need to do a couple of minor fixes like this handbrake. Maybe buy some new tires because those are kind of old. Other than that, it's working great. All right, well, there we go. Sold it for $3,500. Now, let's see what we buy. Time to find another car and flip it. So, stick with me, find out, click the link below, subscribe, and we are definitely going to go on this journey together, trying to see if we can flip a car that has been used that was worth $1,800 into something much, much more. So, stay tuned, guys. And as always, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe. So we got a new car number 2, which